I don't remember exactly when the city became this quiet. At some point, the footsteps faded, the last conversations dissolved into the alleys, and Venice slipped into a softer version of herself. Now it's just me, the water, and the sound of my own breathing. I lean on the stone railing of a small bridge and listen. The canal below isn't loud. It doesn't crash, it doesn't roar. It just moves. A slow brushing of water against the walls, a gentle tapping against the boats, like fingers drumming softly on a wooden table. Somewhere far away, a door closes with a muted thud, then silence again. The kind of silence that doesn't feel empty, but full of things I can't quite see, but can feel. I take a slow breath in, and the air tastes like salt old stone and a hint of something sweet, maybe from a bakery that closed an hour ago, leaving a memory of sugar and warm dough. Hanging in the air, the lamp above me glows a soft gold. It doesn't flicker. It doesn't try to impress. It just exists, a small, steady sun in the middle of the night. The light falls onto the water, and Venice does what she always does. She turns it into a reflection. The canal becomes a moving mirror, broken into ripples, holding pieces of the lamp, pieces of the windows, pieces of the sky. I watch the reflections tremble slowly, like they're breathing too. I stay there for a while, doing nothing, but listening to small sounds, a distant clink of dishes being stacked, the soft sigh of wind turning a corner, the whisper of a curtain moving behind glass. Nothing urgent, nothing demanding my attention. The city isn't trying to entertain me. She is just being herself. And I am allowed to be here and be quiet with her. I push myself gently away from the railing and start walking. The stones under my shoes are worn smooth. They've carried so many steps that mine barely make a sound. Every few meters, an archway opens into another narrow calle, another private passage of shadows and light. I don't choose my path. I let the turns decide for me. Left where the lamp glows a little warmer. Right where I hear the faint murmur of water. Straight ahead, where an arch frames a small square, like a painting. I pass by a window left slightly open. Soft light spills out, and inside I see only shapes. A bookshelf, a chair, a plant, leaning toward the glass. I hear a low voice, someone speaking slowly, maybe reading. The words are too quiet to catch, but the rhythm is comforting. I walk on. The alley narrows until it's just wide enough for the sound of my breathing to come back to me. As a faint echo, I move slower, matching the pace of the city like I'm walking inside a held breath. At the end of the alley, it opens onto a tiny bridge, barely more than a step across. I stop in the middle. Here, the canal is so narrow, it feels like Venice is leaning in to tell me a secret. Water rubs gently against brick. A rope creaks, holding a small wooden boat in place. The boat moves a few centimeters, then settles back again. Forward, back, forward, back. I could stand here all night, just listening to that. The sky above is a deep blue, almost black, with a few stars that manage to find their way between clouds and light. They are not many, but they don't need to be. Even one star is enough to remind me that there is more above me than roofs and stone and lamps. I cross the bridge and follow a faint glow ahead. The path widens, and the city opens suddenly, like a breath let out slowly. I arrive at a small campo, a little square, tucked between buildings, like a quiet heart. In the center, a stone well stands, its edges smoothed by hands. I will never know. The lamplight makes the stone look warm, though I know it's cool to the touch. I sit on the edge of the well, placing my hands on the stone, feeling the faint chill seep into my palms. The square is empty. No voices, no rush, no urgency. Just the light, the air, the distant sound of water. Somewhere along the edge of the city. I close my eyes. Without sight, the sounds grow larger. I hear the very gentle hiss of wind passing through a narrow passage, the quiet tap of a shutter knocking softly against its frame, the slow, regular drip of water from a spout I can't see, a soft splash far away, maybe a bird landing on the water, maybe a boat shifting its weight. I can't tell, and I don't need to. The city moves in small ways, and each small sound is like a finger, drawing circles on the surface of my mind. I open my eyes again and stand. My legs feel lighter, as if I've put something down, without knowing what it was. From the square, I follow a wider gully that slopes gently downward. The air grows cooler. The smell of water becomes stronger. I know where this street is leading me, even before I see it. The lagoon is waiting. I step out from the tight walls into the open. The space suddenly expands, and my chest expands with it. The wide water lies ahead, dark but not empty. Dozens of soft lights float and flicker across its surface, from boats, from distant islands, from the edges of the city itself. Each light stretches into the water as a long, trembling thread, gold on black like lines drawn by a quiet hand. I walk down to the stone steps that descend into the lagoon and sit on the third one. The stone is cool, solid beneath me. It doesn't care that I'm here, and somehow that makes me feel safer. The water comes close, then pulls away, then comes close again. It touches the bottom step with a sound so soft, it's almost not a sound at all. I rest my hands on my knees and just watch. There is nothing I need to do, no place I have to be next. Time feels less like a line and more like a quiet pool, and I'm allowed to simply float. A small wooden boat drifts a little way out, barely moving. A single lantern hangs from its bow, casting a circle of light around it. The boat looks like it's creating its own small universe, a world made of glowing water with darkness all around, holding it gently in place. I imagine the sounds up close, the creak of the wood, the faint splash of the oar dipping, in the droplets sliding back off into the lagoon. I listen to the night as if it were a voice speaking directly to me. There is no story being told here, no plot, no climax, just moments. The breath of the water, the pulse of the city, the slow, quiet rhythm of everything that doesn't need to be seen, to be real. I close my eyes again, but I still see it all. I see the way the lamplight stretches along the wet stones. I see the gentle curve of the bridge I crossed earlier. I see narrow arches, small windows, lines of laundry hanging between buildings, like silent flags of forgotten days. My mind wanders, but softly. It doesn't jump, doesn't rush. It drifts the way a boat drifts. When the oars are pulled in, I notice my breathing, in cool air carrying salt and stone, out warm air carrying the weight of the day, out of my body, in, out, nothing forced, nothing controlled, just the natural way. The body remembers how to rest when the world stops asking for more. I open my eyes once more, slowly, as if I might scare the night away if I move too quickly. But Venice is still here. The lights still glow. The water still moves. The quiet still holds. Somewhere behind me, a clock tower chimes softly. Not loud, not sharp, just a reminder. That time exists, even when I stop counting it. I stand up from the steps and take one last look at the lagoon. The reflections look almost like thoughts. I could walk on, if I only trusted them enough. I turn and walk back into the city. But something has changed. The alleys feel less like a maze and more like a familiar path. The shadows seem softer, filled with hidden kindness. I pass the same little square, the same narrow bridge, the same window with the curtain I saw before. Nothing has moved, and yet everything feels different, because I am different. The night has worked quietly, the way water shapes stone dash dash, slowly, patiently, without needing to be seen. When I finally reach my door and step inside, the room feels gentler too. I leave the window slightly open, so the sounds of the city can follow me in. The faint brush of water, the occasional soft call of a bird, a distant footstep, a whisper of wind, running its fingers along the canal. I lie down, and the bed welcomes me, like an old friend. My eyes grow heavy, but not with exhaustion, with relief. The city doesn't say goodnight. She doesn't need to. She just continues breathing out there, moving quietly around me, holding me, like another small reflection on her endless water. And as I let go, drifting gently towards sleep, I know that somewhere in Venice, a lamp is still glowing, a boat is still rocking, and the night is still, watching over us with calm, patient eyes. More Italian bedtime stories coming very soon. If you enjoyed this moment of calm, subscribe and like the video for more gentle storytelling.